like that, you're going to know what they're doing. And, you know, if guys start cutting corners, looking for a way to kind of sneak by and kind of, you know, on the kind of on the narrow, you just kind of just find a way to just kind of start cut corners again. It means a lot when a guy kind of sees that and says something to guys to kind of help him. And the big thing is, you're not, in my experience, you're not saying stuff to a guy to make him feel bad or, you know, to call him out. You're saying something because you want to see him do well. You want to see a kid that's maybe starting to skip class, maybe starting to skip training table, stuff like that. You know, say, hey, you know, everybody's been there, heading down a path that's tough to turn around if you know, if you keep this going. And you do stuff like that because you generally want to help guys. You want to see them do well in the end.
One of the guys that a lot of fans are interested in seeing, particularly I guess because he's sort of the chip on the shoulder Iowa type guy, Bruce Davis out of Ohio, a little undersized coming out of high school. Obviously with Coleman departing, that may have an opening for him there at middle linebacker. So what have you seen both in the spring and then in the summer's position?
I mean, Bruce has had a tremendous kind of attitude adjustment. I think that, and Bruce would be the same way, he'd be the first to tell you this. Bruce came in kind of with that chip on his shoulder. He came in from Glenville, very successful high school in Ohio State. A lot of those Glenville guys that don't get Ohio State offers but go somewhere else kind of come in with a chip on their shoulder and looking to prove people wrong that, you know, they are as good as everybody else and stuff like that. And he came in and he kind of had this expectation that he'd play right away. And I think that a lot of our successful players have been guys that put their time in as freshmen and sophomore on the scout team. When they step into a role, junior, senior, fifth year, whatever it might be, you know, due to their time they put in, are successful because of that. And so I think Bruce got a little frustrated with the fact that he wasn't playing early on. You know, he redshirt and everything, but Bruce kind of took on his role as a special teams player last year. About halfway through the season, you could kind of see Bruce kind of figure it out a little bit, and he kind of realized that, hey, you know, get out there on special teams, make some plays, kind of open the coach's eyes a little bit, and really just do everything I can to help myself. And I mean, look at him now. I mean, yeah, Jacody's left, but I mean, right now Bruce is in the two deeps, and I think he's a guy that through spring ball has impressed the coach. I know he's impressed a lot of the players with this. You know, he's changed his attitude, especially through the summer. He's a guy he's showed up and worked every day, and done everything he can to help himself, which means a lot. When a guy goes from kind of complaining about, you know, playing time, lack of, to doing, and kind of sees a transformation to doing everything he can to help himself if he wasn't doing that before. So it was good to see that, and I know that Bruce, he's like the rest of us. He's just kind of anxious to get the season started. Whether he's ended up playing a lot in the defense or if he's playing every special team and he's the backup most of the season. I think just through kind of his different attitude that he's taken on as far as his role, he'll be a key part of what we do this year.
You talked about before. You talked before about bringing guys back from the edge. Do you have any success stories there?
You talk about guys get a little too wound up.
No, guys.
Or guys that start kind of looking on.
Yeah, skipping class and training table and that kind of thing.
I mean, I don't know how much of it I had to do with it, but I mean, you look at a guy like Pat. Pat was. And again, Pat will be the first to tell you this. Pat was the guy having the most fun downtown. He was the guy having the most fun away from the field. And finally figured out that if he wanted to be a key guy on the team, a key guy on the field, he had to kind of make some decisions as far as what were some of the things that are important to him. And I know that, I mean, it wasn't anything big that I did. I know that Pat, a lot of it came through himself, but I mean, there's a few times that Pat was kind of down about not being out there and not being on the field, and I said, hey man, you got the most potential, and it's kind of a fine line because Pat was a year older than me, he's a fifth-year guy, and you kind of got to walk that line a little bit. But I was like, hey, you're one of the most athletic, strong, fastest guys on this team. You know, just look what you're doing off the field, and you're gonna, if you can kind of make some priorities, you're gonna be a hell of a player on the field. You'll open the coach's eyes. I mean, I go, Norm doesn't hate you. Norm just knows that you've got so much potential that you're not tapping into right now that, you know, it's just kind of frustrating to see that. And I think that, again, that wasn't what, you know, made Pat's mind up. But, I mean, Pat's a guy that you can kind of look at, and I think some of the guys kind of older than me, you know, some of the senior guys at the time said, hey, you know, figure it out and you'll be a great player. And he's a guy that he'll be the first to tell you that he wasn't doing everything he could to help himself early on. But once he figured it out, I mean, he kind of emerged in great fashion.
Can you talk about the downtown thing? I know that you guys are sort of, kind of, mostly banned from downtown.
I mean, Iowa City. It's a great place to go to college. It's a fun place.
Yeah.
But as it is, it's a very risky place.
Yep.
Kind of, especially if you're not of age.
Right.
To be out there with the 19 rule to get in when you're 19, it just makes it so easy for something to go wrong. Because I mean, you can get in when you're 19, but you're supposed to be out by 10.
Right.
I don't think I was ever out by 10 whenever I was 20. I don't think that any.
And how close do they check that? I mean,
I don't even know if they do.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a slippery slope as far as kind of what you do when you're out there. And so I think that Coach Ferentz has made the right decision to kind of nix it for the summer, because especially guys like us, we stick out. I mean, we're not normal sized people.
Right.
You know, we don't look like everybody else on campus. You know, we're not 5'11", 175 frat kids. You know, no offense to that, but we're just bigger people that kind of stick out in the crowd, and it makes for an easy target. You know, it makes for some guy that's, you know, he's had too much to drink, you know, to go over and, you know, start calling a guy out that's on the team and try to get his name in the paper because he got in a fight with whoever. So I think that it's dangerous. It's a fun time, and it can definitely be handled the right way. But when you have 105 guys that are college kids, the big thing is 105 college guys playing football. It's gonna, you know, eventually it's gonna kind of catch up with you a little bit. So I think that, and I think that everybody on the team would agree. For the time being, Coach has made the right decision to kind of cut us off from that scene and kind of reevaluate it as time goes on, because it's the way it's going. I mean, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it to go out and you know, have a good time or whatever, get in trouble, and, you know, just kind of, you know, give the team a black eye. So I think that it's kind of a unanimous decision that, yeah, it's fun to go out and, you know, do whatever you want to whenever you have free time, but you got to kind of make some decisions and see what's important to you, and see if it really is worth, you know, kind of putting yourself in that situation.
And did he bring that up to the leadership group? I mean, you guys vote on that? And I know you guys can be harder on yourselves sometimes.
I think that what it was, basically, without getting into the specifics, Coach kind of made the decision, and it was reinforced by the leadership group. Coach made the decision, kind of asked us how we felt about it. I don't know if it would have mattered, but we kind of reinforced Coach's decision, and I'm guessing he probably felt better about it then. I'm not sure if it would have mattered again.
Right.
I think, you know, there's some things here and there. Once Coach, it's his show. You know, it's Coach Ferentz's show, and
his name's on it.
Once he makes his mind up, there's some things that it's not a democracy. You know, sometimes it is, but a lot of the times, you know, when tough decisions have to be made, he's the guy that makes those calls, and he made the right decision. I mean, it's in the summer, especially when there's not that many people on campus. It's too easy for stuff to go wrong.